But the French Revolution, their definition of liberty came from the Declaration of the Rights of Man. And it was, I guess you'd say Article 4. I'm not sure how they would say it in their declaration, but it says...
Article 4.
That was... we are a multilingual podcast, apparently.
Apparently. It's okay.
Stop.
I've said this before, Joel. It's okay to make fun of the French, okay?
Dude,
They're
watch it. I mean, I know. Okay. Anyways, my apologies for any French descendant Americans.
They'll be fine. Anyways,
I
back
hope so,
to
because off camera I usually talk like that too. So my accent's way worse.
Yeah, I was about to say, why are you throwing me under the bus?
Because it's fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, so the French Revolution and the Declaration of Rights of Man, Article 4 says, liberty consists in the freedom to do everything which injures no one else. Hence, the exercise of natural rights of each man has no limits except those which assure to the other members of the society the enjoyment of the same rights. Sounds all right. But what is the standard for what those other rights are? What is the standard for what the injuring of another is? You know, I heard it said in another podcast, I think the guy's name was Bill Hyde, who was doing it, just to try to give credit to him. That is injuring somebody, unfriending them from Facebook?
Yeah.
Is it, something simple like that? Or is it like punching them in the face because you don't like them? Or is it enslaving them? Where's the line for injury there? What's the standard?
Right.
And because there is no standard, we see in the French Revolution just the absolute chaos that ended up in the Reign of Terror with Robespierre and the guillotine and just the bloodshed. It literally became a godless bloodbath. In removing the standard and removing God, they removed the standard. And without that standard, it led to chaos.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty wild how you kind of see the trend in history of as soon as you kind of like leave those open-ended questions about like, well, freedom is doing whatever you want as long as it doesn't hurt anybody.
Right.
How like the list of people it's acceptable to hurt kind of just gets longer and longer.
Exactly. Because it becomes arbitrary.
Yeah.
Who decides that?
Right.
Do I decide that? Well, what if my decision, what I've decided is injuring somebody isn't yours? Conflict, chaos, right there.
Exactly.
And that's just you and me sitting here.
Yeah.
So moving on from that, because that kind of mentality from the French Revolution actually has like spread, and it's very much intertwined in our country now, and it's spread throughout other countries that have just there's a conflict and battle going on between what liberty really is and these other ideas like that. But yeah, we had Googled some definitions. You want to give us those real quick?
Sure. Yeah. So, one of the first ones here is the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, or political views.
Right.
Which is, it's not bad.
It's
not the worst.
Well, the French Revolution one didn't sound bad just off the cuff.
Sure.
But the state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions. Well, what's oppressive restrictions? Imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, political views. Well, what if one's way of life is a serial killer, right? So again, you've got this arbitrariness to the standard of what is there and what isn't.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting too that it singles out only by authority.
Yeah.
And how, the implication of that is that somehow almost like other people that are not in positions of authority will never try and restrict your freedom.
Right.
Which is not the case if you look at human history for more than like 12 seconds. You'll learn that like, oh, it doesn't matter. Authority, non-authority, like
it could be
people be doing crazy stuff all the time.
Absolutely. I mean, there are, it's terrible. There are men who feel restricted by their marriages. There are people who feel restricted that they can't just do all these harmful drugs and go crazy with alcohol and become alcoholics.
Right.
There's gluttony and all these. Where's the standard? Right. These definitions, they sound okay. They sound good. But as I heard somebody say once, I think it may have been Charles Spurgeon. I don't remember exactly who said it.
That's okay.
But he said that discernment is not knowing between right and wrong, but between knowing right and almost right. Right? So what we're trying to do here is discern between the right and the almost right. Because the almost right, as we saw in the French Revolution, the ancient world fell apart, and this definition, it's not working.